everyone. Welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I am your Cinemaniac host, John, back with another 10ish minute review. Now, this one, I haven't seen an SRK film since Ahsoka. And this was one that I have in my queue, but haven't watched it. Well, somebody recommended it, and it was recommended by at Mad Hurry Gambir 1355. Mad Hurry Gambir 1355. And he recommended Om Shanti Om from 2007. And I have to say this, that I'm glad I watched it now because I've had that in my queue for a while. And if I watched this film a year ago, a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have enjoyed it nearly as much because of all the cameos. And part of the fun that I had with this film, and maybe it's not a good thing because it did take me out of the film a little bit, I was trying to figure out who all the cameos were. And I recognized a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. And that validated how many of these Indian films I've watched over the last 2 years. So that was really cool. I have to tell you that. So thank you for recommending it. It was directed by Farah Khan, who also directed Main Hoon Na. And I one of the things she does with the credits I really, really like. She did it in Main Hoon Na, and she did it in this film too. I'll talk about that later. It stars SRK, King Khan, Shah Rukh Khan from, I don't know. I've seen so many of his films, but My Name is Khan, Devdas, Ahsoka recently. Deepika Padukone, who I just saw in Singham Again. Now, a lot of you did not like her in Singham Again. I thought she was pretty good, but I also, she was 20 years old when she made this film, and she looks a lot different. But I will say that she was breathtakingly beautiful in this film. Like the way they shot her, especially in the first half, strikingly beautiful. I just, is she a good actress? She's passable, but I couldn't get over how beautiful she was. I also saw her in Kalki 2089, 2898 AD in Padmavat. I think that Padmavat was the first thing I saw her in. Arjun Rampal, who was in Ra.One Dawn, who was a very good villain in this film. Kirron Kher, or Kerr, the mother, who I've seen in Devdas, Rang De Basanti, Main Hoon Na, and Sheena Talpade, who was in Pushpa The Rise. Cast was very good in this, I have to say. A couple things. So apparently, Shah Rukh Khan wanted every single actor or actress in Bollywood to make a guest appearance in this film. And he pretty much did that. Now, there was a lot of misses, like John Abraham I didn't see. And obviously the biggest miss, as you know, was Amir Khan. Yeah, that's right. Amir Khan was not in this film. Now, I know there was a rift between them. Apparently, they were sniping at each other in interviews. But I also read that Amir Khan was in the middle of editing Three Idiots, and he said if he went there for a day, it would put the editing off 2 months. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was a big miss. And the director said there was a shot during one of the songs where she wanted Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Amir Khan in a frame together dancing, and that's really what she wanted. Well, she couldn't get that, so she substituted Amir Khan with Sanjay Dutt. But it was a really interesting part of this film. It was also a tribute or homage to 1970s Indian cinema, not Bollywood yet. And there's a lot of references to that as I did more research. But I also recognize it from, some of the movies that I've seen. So that was pretty interesting too. And again, I think the thrill I had about this movie was how many references I understood. I didn't get all of them, but I mean, it was pretty hilarious. There was one scene where they're out in the street and there's a poster of Sholay on the wall behind. Well, I know Sholay. I've seen it. So I'm like, I know that movie and other things too. But let's talk about The story. The story is a simple one. A young man wants to be in the movie business, and he's a junior performer, or I can't remember the name they use, but he's a background person, and he has aspirations to be the hero. Well, he sees um, Deepika's character, who is Shanti Praya or Shanti, hence the title, and he immediately falls in love with her. And through circumstances, he rescues her from a fire while they're shooting the movie, which I guess is based on a real event that happened, which was kind of interesting. And he becomes kind of her hero. Well, then you find out that even though she befriends him, he loves her. She's married to a producer, but nobody knows it because it'll affect their careers. So he finds out that they're married and is heartbroken. And then again, through circumstances, and I'm not going to go through the whole story, obviously, the producer finds out she's pregnant and then kills her in a fire. But before she dies, his character, Omi, tries to save her and dies. That's the first half of the film. And that part of it I really, really like because the vibe of the 70s, the look of the film, I thought was great. And the dance numbers in both halves of this film were great. I loved them for what they were trying to do. And they were almost a little tongue in cheek making fun of Bollywood with what they were doing, which I also appreciated. The way they talked about the films, the plots of the films, it was really good. So then as he dies, a baby is born. In fact, the couple that hit him and ultimately killed him after some other things happened have a baby as he dies. Well, it ends up he turns into Om Kapoor, um, and becomes basically Shah Rukh Khan, except with a much bigger ego, I guess. And it jumps 30 years ahead. Now you find out that this character, Om, is the reincarnation of Ami from the first half of the film. So the whole second half of the film is revenge against the producer for killing the love of his life. And they tried to con him. They get a look-alike. And I will say, I thought that even though this, first of all, her voice, Deepika's voice was dubbed, which I don't know why they dub her voice, but that, originally they denied it, but it came out that they did. But she played a very different character than the first part. The first part, when she was the actress, elegant, even the way they shot it, every shot was like a glamour shot. And when she came back as Sandy, an actress who looks like her, she's popping bubble gum, she's tripping. It was actually very funny. She was very funny. I thought she was good. I know people don't like her acting style. I see that in all the reviews, but I actually liked what she did. And they figure out a way to get revenge on him. Well, then it turns out that there's a real ghost, and ultimately they get their revenge and everything works out. That's really the story. I'm going to give the story a 4 because it was original. It had so many different layers to it, as far as a look at Bollywood, a look at reincarnation, which I think, other than Ega, which I loved, when he comes back as a fly, I haven't seen a lot of movies about reincarnation. So, in Indian cinema. And I know that's a big thing in Hindi culture. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. So that's why I'm going to give it a 4. The performances I thought all the performances were good. Now, I will say that I was a little worried for the first 30 minutes or so, because the acting style actually reminded me of a lot of 90s Hindi films, because the humor was kind of over the top. But then I kind of figured what they were going for. They were doing that purposely, because the second half is far more serious than the first half. There's still a lot of funny stuff in it, and it is funny, especially the way SRK plays a snobby movie star doing all the movie star things. So it wasn't like it wasn't funny, but it was different. But then, as I started to get into the story and I started to notice, what they were doing, I appreciate it a lot more. And Shah Rukh Khan he's such a big personality. He's so likable, and he was very likable in this. He cries a lot, the watery eyes. And I thought the bad guy was really good in this, and apparently he originally refused the role because I mean, when he kills Shanti, it's an awful scene. And to think about the way she died, and then you find out, you know, uh, he went back to check to see if she was dead. She was still breathing. He killed her and buried her alive. Excuse me, he didn't kill her. He buried her alive under the set that they were building, which comes to play later on. So this guy was nasty. So I thought he was really good. I thought the mother was good. She was funny. His buddy, Papu was his name. He was very funny. So I really liked all the performances in this, and the Bollywood stars who pretty much made fun of themselves. Like there's a scene where they're going to it's either like it's a premiere. Was it a premiere or no, it was an award show. That's what it was, an award show. So they're asking everyone who's going to win the award. And they say, one woman said, and I didn't recognize her, I think Om Kapoor is going to win. Then they go to um, Abhishek Bachchan, and he goes, I think I'm going to win. Then they go to Amitabh Bachchan, and they said, do you think Om Kapoor is going to win? He goes, who? Very funny. And then in the award show, they show clips from the movies that the actors were nominated for. And like Akshay Kumar, he does this action movie, really funny. And then when they go back, when he's sitting in the audience, he's kind of a jerk. Abhishek, he thinks he's going to win, so he stands up, and then they call Om Kapoor, and he sits back down, and they get him on camera, and he's so upset. I thought that was really, really funny. Um, and that's kind of when he discovers who he really is, because when he wins the award, he goes up, and in the first half of the movie, he did a fake speech with his buddy. This is what I would say if I won the award, handed him a bottle of something. And he does this speech. Well, while he's up on stage at the actual award show in the second half, he starts remembering the speech and does this beautiful speech. And that's when it finally hits him who he really is. I thought that was really good. So I'm going to give the performances a 4. Now, the music. I have to tell you that out of all the movies I've seen, I think this would be in my top 5 for music, because all the numbers were big. They were very colorful. He was up front, and there was one song where he's shirtless and he's freaking jacked. And I guess this was the first film where he really did that, where he had the abs and he just looked great, and it fit with the style of the number that they were doing. But obviously the big number, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's I don't wait, did I write it down? Look, I've got 3 pages of notes, which I don't normally do. It was D something. Oh, what the heck's the name of it? It was the big hit, but it's when all the cameos happen. And it was great because I'm trying to pick out who it is. It was Priya Chopra, Kajol, I recognize, Salman Khan, obviously, Saif Ali Khan, Sanjay Dutt. I also saw that when each cameo came out, if they had a dance style from their films, they did it in the film. And I thought that was really clever. And everybody wanted to be in this film. Everybody. Not everyone could do it schedule-wise. But I thought that was great. And there was a lot of songs. And I liked them all. In fact, the last song was, I dropped my, hold on a second. I dropped my notes. I need my notes. The last song was during the credits, and I loved it because this director, Farah, she has the cast come out like at a red carpet event. And obviously the cast comes out first, Shah Rukh Khan, then his name comes across. Well, then everybody in the crew gets to come out. And it's their time to shine. Well, the last person to come out is her. And there's a close-up of her. She gets out of the car. Camera pulls back. Everybody's gone. They're cleaning up everything. And she's looking around like, what's going on? So in this particular film, because of the dancing, the songs, the colorfulness, the everything about the songs, I just loved in this film. I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 5. And finally, my overall, my verdict. I'm going to give enough time for the title of the show, and then I'm going to give my verdict. I'm going to give this a 4. I really enjoyed this film. Now, I read some reviews on it. Some people either loved it or some people absolutely hated it. There wasn't like an in-between. But for me, I enjoyed it. And like I told you, I was really into figuring out all the references to other films, to the cameos. And I really enjoyed that because my love for Indian cinema has grown over the years. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but if I watch that, back after I watched a few, I wouldn't get any of the references. But I did in this, and that's what I loved it. I'm going to call out a few other things that I really liked. Om stands for God, right? So that was interesting. We always talk about the entrances of the lead actors, and they always have these magnificent, beautiful entrances. Well, in this one, they open up at a studio, and it's some kind of disco show, and SRK's in the audience, dancing kind of goofily. That was his entrance, and then he imagines himself hosting the show. But her entrance, where she's at a premiere of her film Dreamy Girl, is getting out of the car, and it's beautiful. And the other thing they did in this, and they did it a lot, the old fan in front of everybody, so that when they're talking, the wind's blowing their hair. That's a very Hindi thing. He sets up a fake movie to impress her, and he gets everyone in his village or town to fake this movie. That was really funny. And he confesses, but the scenes where all the stunts and everything that they're doing, it was funny. What else? Om Kapoor, his character, where Shah Rukh Khan goes by SRK. Om Kapoor goes by OK. He's even got a shirt with OK on it. He wears a Nightwing costume from Batman and Robin. I like that, except with a cape and briefs, which Nightwing does not have. In the awards scene, Abhishek Bachchan was nominated, and his film was Doom 5. And he was nominated because he wasn't in it. Now, I think his sidekick there, what's his name, Chopra, I figured that would have been funnier. And the other thing was when Om Kapoor gets nominated, it's for 2 separate films, but the scenes are exactly the same with 2 different actresses. Exactly. So I thought that was really funny and clever. And he says this thing. He says fish it instead of F it. And he says that a lot. What else? Oh, the guy Coffee with Quran. I've seen this show on YouTube. He was in it. I think he's a set designer or costume designer. I'm not sure which, but he was in it too as a cameo. So I recognized him from that Coffee with Quran show. So yeah, I really liked this. This was a lot of fun. And another good Shah Rukh Khan film. So that's it. That's my 10ish-minute review. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share. If this is the first time watching the channel, let me know what you think in the comment section. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon with another 10ish-minute review on John Talks Indian Cinema. Thank you for watching, everybody. Fish it!